Brace for impact.
Hello. Davie Portman here from Up Next, postwrestling.com, Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts, you found us. Up Next. And this, my friends, is Deep Impact, our weekly Tuesday show where we talk all about Impact Wrestling. And I am joined today once again by my Impact partner in crime. It's a Mr. Andrew Thompson. How are you, my friend?
Davie, good sir. It is a pleasure to be with you again. Always a good time as always. We are getting ready for Deep Impact. I was almost getting ready for some deep sleep.
Oh.
But as always, it is a good time doing this podcast with you, my brother.
Yeah, Andrew, this week I get a message from Bing going, hey, can we get going? Can we start this thing? That last 40 minutes put me to sleep. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get to Impact very soon, and then you'll be able to get to bed very soon, Andrew. I feel you. I had one of those weeks last week where just every day I was just exhausted. I'm full of energy today. I've had my 2 coffees, and I'm ready to get all into Swingers Palace this week.
There you go. But of course, before we get into the show that was Impact Wrestling, there was a bit of Impact related news that happened over the past, you can even say 3 days.
Oh yeah,
3 days, Dave. There was a lot that was going on as far as former Impact related talent getting signed to major companies, man.
Yeah, so we've got Taya Valkyrie, who has now signed with, it seems like it's NXT. I know we were kind of theorizing before, thinking maybe she'll be with Miz Morrison. What are your thoughts with that? I think WWE is where we thought she'd go. What do you think about NXT for Taya?
Yeah, I think that's a good fit for Taya. I honestly think if she would, I know me and you both kind of agree that, if it was AEW or WWE or, a variation of, NXT or the quote unquote main roster, I think she would have fit anywhere she chose. I think NXT is a solid option for her. Like, she bring a lot of veteran experience to that locker room, and she's well versed, well traveled. It's going to be interesting to see how she gets put into the mix, because Triple H has said on the media call that this upcoming Performance Center class is going to be the largest group of females that they ever had. So that's going to be it's going to be quite interesting to see like the amount of talent that gets mixed in there. I know AQA is confirmed for that class. And then, it's a lot of people coming in to NXT. It seems like they, specifically the NXT brand, it seems like they trying to, kickstart some things to get some more buzz going around.
Yeah, I was quite surprised here she was going to NXT, to be honest. She feels like a main roster character, and I saw her slipping right in there with Miz and Morrison. But there isn't really a character like her down in NXT, so I think it could be interesting. I don't quite see how she's going to fit in. Going to be interested to see what they do. You said it seems to be a big female class. There were rumors before all this pandemic and stuff about a Mae Young Classic 3. Could you see that being something they'd potentially consider doing, especially seeing that they kind of brought it up storyline-wise with Io and Tony, that Tony defeated her in the Mae Young Classic?
I think that's a real good call by you right there. I definitely think that's what they probably gearing up for, to present another Mae Young Classic tournament. I think a lot of people want another Mae Young Classic tournament. I know I want to see one. Those things have been successful the last 2 times they did them. I think 2 times they did them, they've always been successful. So, and I'm definitely not going to be against another Mae Young Classic. And then, of course, I think one of the interesting things that people like to see is when they kind of bring talent that's not signed to WWE, but with the class they got coming in and all the talent they already got established, like it's honestly like no need to go outside, because you got like a whole bracket of competitors right there set in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do the Mae Young Classic more integrated with NXT, perhaps even some matches on NXT UK and some kind of similar to what AEW's doing right now with their women's tournament. I think it's been quite clear quite a few times that NXT try to make the women's division almost their calling card. They very often kick off the show with a big women's match and quite often headline with a women's match as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see it more as part of the show like they've been doing with the Dusty Classic, rather than like another network special or Peacock special, I guess it will be if they end up doing it. And yeah, a few more signees. Obviously, we saw LA Knight, Eli Drake, on the kind of pre-show for NXT TakeOver this weekend. What are your thoughts on Eli Drake? How do you feel he'll fit in there?
So I've never been a like Eli Drake in-ring guy, but like that dude can talk with the best of them, like legit. Like he is like very I think it's a fair word. I think he's very captivating on the microphone. He can draw people in. Like he's like very interesting on the microphone. Like I like seeing him on the mic. Like I don't like I'm not really like, again, I'm not like very into like drawn into what he does in ring wise, but I feel like he could talk people into the building. So it's gonna be cool to see him like mix it up with some of the people in the NXT and kind of, you know, his wittiness and, you know, kind of putting people on the spot, because I feel like that's the type of person he is when he gets on the mic. So yeah, I always like I feel like the NWA really did wonders for Eli Drake, and you know, putting eyes on him and letting people know how good on the microphone he is. So I'm pretty sure that's going to translate over to NXT. We saw that on the Takeover Vengeance Day pre-show when he grilled Brandon Walker from Barstool, and he went in on Wade Barrett as well. I'm pretty sure he was going to go in on Sam Roberts, but Sam Roberts did the smart thing, which I would have did, left the scene before you get roasted. Very, very smart move right there by Sam Roberts. But yeah, man, that's a good pickup for them, man. Another vet, another person to add to your locker room, and no, he TV ready. Him and Taya, TV ready.
Yeah, I see him as kind of NXT's response to an Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston, I can't say I get particularly excited about his matches, but I'm captivated every time he opens his mouth.
That's a good comparison.
And I think Eli Drake, if they can resist the WWE urge to kind of overproduce him and just let him do his thing, I think he could be a real big asset there. Whether you have him kind of form his own little faction that he can be a mouthpiece. So, similar kind of role to Pat McAfee, you know, kind of build up some guys, does wrestle as well, but that's what I see his role, where I see his role being successful there. And then another guy we've talked about a bunch, Blake Christian, who signed with NXT now.
Yeah, just give it the proper accreditation. Fightful reported that story that Blake Christian got officially signed to WWE. So yeah, Blake, you want to know a funny story, Dave? I was supposed to interview Blake to promote the GCW Fight Forever show, and Blake gave me the old runaround, and I kind of figured, you know, something was up, because like me and him had set a date in stone, and then like he said something came up, and I was like, yeah, I bet. So yeah, so I kind of put two and two together, and I kind of, you know, he must have got signed. I think his I mistake me if I'm wrong, I think his significant other is signed with
Cora Jade. Yeah. We saw her in the women's tournament.
Yep. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of good things going on, man. You know, working with your significant other in the same company, and you guys kind of living out that WWE dream. So yeah, congratulations to Blake Christian, man. That's big right there.
It does seem like a lot of talent coming in. We did have that class a year or so ago, which had the likes of Cameron Grimes, ACH, Bronson Reed, all those guys, when again they did a little tournament, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do that kind of thing again, perhaps for like a North American title shot or something like that, to try and introduce these new people. But it's a lot of people, and WWE does seem quite bloated, so we'll see. Maybe it's time for some call-ups. We finally had that UE split, so maybe kind of once we've seen this through, we'll see kind of a class maybe move up to make room for some of these new guys.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, David, like for someone that reviews NXT on the weekly. Like, what do you think about how like so many people are coming into the company? Like, I think the next Performance Center class is probably gonna get announced next week. Like, just knowing that, hearing Triple H actually say that this is gonna be the biggest women's class that they've had, and just seeing all the recent signings that they brought in. Like, who would you say, like, right now on the current NXT roster that you can think of from the top of your head that's like, okay, we got so many people come in, like they need to go Raw, SmackDown?
Um, I mean, you're not going to do it with Undisputed Era right now because you've got that story with them. But Ciampa and Gargano, they've kind of... I worry. I worry for Gargano especially, just being kind of another Ricochet on the main roster. But I do think they've kind of outstayed their welcome in NXT. I think we all assume Rhea is called up now. We're just waiting for her to actually kind of appear regularly on the main roster. But they're the two that comes to mind. I'd say Damian Priest moved up at the right time, but I kind of want to see the likes of Bronson Reed having more prominent positions in NXT, and I think you need to pull some of your top stars away to just force the talent underneath to step it up.
And that last thing on this, I gotta say, Damian Priest has had the smoothest transition that I've seen in a while. Like, this dude literally got paired with the biggest Latin artist in the world, and more than likely is probably gonna end up being on the WrestleMania card this year. Like, he has made a very smooth transition. Like, Damian Priest lucked out. He lucked out.
He's got to be grateful for Kevin Owens, right? Because the story apparently is that Damian Priest was pitched to be like Kevin Owens' best friend to team with him against Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. And Kevin Owens just said, like, I don't know this guy. I've never met this guy. He's not my friend. It's not like we were in Montreal at the same time or ROH or any of that. So shot down the idea and they went back to the drawing board and then came up with this whole Bad Bunny crossover thing. And you're right, Priest has just stepped into it seamlessly and I think could be a big deal on the main roster.
Yeah, 100%, man. Congratulations to Damian Priest, my brother. You have escaped the chokehold.
One more piece of news before we go into Impact is the Sammy Guevara story. We obviously saw Sammy on AEW Dynamite last week. He left the Inner Circle and said he was going to kind of go somewhere else and maybe find himself. We all assumed he was going to Impact for a little visit. That was apparently the plan, but he turned down the creative they gave to him, which actually seemed to be a Tony Khan idea. And at first it seemed like there was heat, and then Meltzer came out earlier saying that there's no heat, or at least no heat from AEW towards Sammy Guevara. What do you make of this whole situation?
Not much. I mean, it could be something, to it, but like with specific stories like this, I kind of just, dial back on it and don't really dive too deep in it, because like for those of you who haven't seen it, Sammy Guevara took to his I think Twitter or his YouTube channel and did something like he laid on the ground on the snow because he had too much heat on him, so he had to cool off, and like you know what I'm saying, like just a little like so it's hard for me to like put like real serious stock into these type of stories, because like it could just be like anything, or maybe it really could be something to it, but like just specific stories like this, I just like just kind of let it in one ear and right out the other.
Yeah, I think this will be like a non-story within a week, but it is interesting. The kind of the rumors I heard were that they gave his planned story to Black Taurus. So we'll get to that a bit later, but I imagine it had something to do with the X Division title, is my theory. But let's get into Impact Wrestling itself. We open with a recap of No Surrender. We saw Rich Swann retain his championship against Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer putting the title on his shoulders. And then Moose attacking both, because obviously he is next in line for a title shot. Did you get to catch much of No Surrender or any of it?
Davey, I'm not even gonna lie to you, brother. I did not see a lick of that show. I saw the highlights on social media, and from what I saw, it's like I didn't miss. It seemed like it was some good action on the show, like some good wrestling. But like I'm talking about, like as far as like anything like new, super newsworthy, it wasn't anything that big coming out of the show.
Yeah, I kind of had it on in the background. I wanted like just a chill day and kind of had it on while doing some cleaning and stuff, and it definitely wasn't a patch on the last Impact Plus where they had the the X Division Cup tournament. I did enjoy the triple threat revolver match. The main event between Dreamer and Swann was kind of better than I thought it would be, but it was a pretty no news show really, and nothing really stood out.
I was gonna ask you, how was the triple threat tag match with the tag titles?
It was good. So it ended with Private Party actually. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the end of the match. I believe Private Party actually took the pin.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I'm getting all these shows confused that I've watched over the last few days. It was all right. It didn't blow me away. It kind of felt like a sort of Dynamite match, maybe like a good match, but didn't feel pay-per-view worthy, or kind of maybe as big as the build it had.
Right. So Private Party took the pin in that.
I'm gonna double check. I'm just looking at John Ceno's report now, because it was a busy weekend, lots going on. Oh no, that's right. Quen hits the shooting star, and Anderson kind of blind tags him in and steals the pin on Storm. Private Party did the work, but the Good Brothers snuck in and stole it at the end there.
It looks like our prediction might be coming true. We might get that rematch on Dynamite sometime in the future. We might get it. It might happen, man.
Maybe. If you want a full breakdown of No Surrender from the weekend, John Ceno's report is on postwrestling.com.
Ceno.
Okay, well, let's get into the show. We kick off right away with an X Division Championship match. Josh Alexander, who won the Revolver Triple Threat Gauntlet match at No Surrender, challenging TJP. I didn't see Alexander coming out of this as the winner, the Revolver match, but I was quite looking forward to this. Two interesting styles. Like, TJP definitely has the technical side to him as well as the high flying. So I was quite looking forward to this match, and it really didn't disappoint.
Man, you go ahead, Davey.
Yeah. So Matt Stryker on commentary is putting over both these guys. He's saying, you can talk about all your other three-letter companies, your AEWs, but I would put these two wrestlers up against anyone. The match starts with a lot of submission trades, just counter for counter. There's this counter into a surfboard stretch from Alexander, and that's where we see that TJP is bleeding from the mouth. The ankle lock gets locked in by Alexander, but this gets rolled through and countered into a triangle from TJP. So Alexander tries to push him down to pin him to his shoulders, but ends up lifting him up into a powerbomb against his knee. Really nice transitions here. We get the triangle hold again from TJP. This time, Josh Alexander walks into the corner and slingshots him face first into the turnbuckle. TJP then applies his octopus stretch and turns it into a double arm octopus stretch. He's just wrenching on any limb that's available. There's a haluva kick in the corner from TJP, followed by a tornado DDT for a 2 count. He goes for the Mamba splash, but rolls through. Alexander dives to the outside, then goes up top, but as he jumps off, eats a drop kick from TJP. Alexander locks in the ankle lock again, but it gets turned into an enziguri. The detonation kick is blocked. The Tiger Driver 98 is blocked. Now TJP is up top again, and Alexander goes up on the turnbuckle, attempts the divine intervention, his Tiger Driver 98 off the second rope, but TJP knocks him off, hits the Mamba splash, but this gets rolled into an ankle lock, and TJP is selling this submission so well. I really thought we were flipping the title here. He looks like he's about to tap, but manages to escape. He catches Alexander with the detonation kick, climbs up top, and hits the Mamba Splash in 11 minutes, 20 seconds. TJP retains the title. Andrew, thoughts?
This was a really, really, really good opening match. I really enjoyed this. Josh Alexander is a great wrestler, as proven. That it was one spot during this match that I really liked was when he hit that power bomb backbreaker on the TJP. He lifted him up with a power bomb and then like he literally threw TJP onto his knee. It was ridiculous.
It was from the triangle as well, so we're talking like a one-armed power bomb essentially.
Yes, and it was like one of those I love those moves in wrestling, like where I legit jump up and start cringing because I'm trying to imagine like I know that hurts like a lot. So that was like a really cool thing. Like man, I think a lot of people already know how good Josh Alexander is just from his time on the Independence, but like I think it's just further established that like how good he is and can be if you put him in the right situation or you put him in there with the right person where you can bounce off of. Like it was like legit a clash of styles with him and TJP, and they really work well together. I definitely don't think this should be the last time that they should wrestle, and I think you should keep putting Josh in these matches with the TJPs and the Trey Miguels and the Chris Bays, because I think that's where he shines best, and then it also works well with with those specific styles that I mentioned with the that power / speed dynamic that they have going on.
Yeah, I loved this match. I thought this might be the best TV Impact match I've seen in the last year. I'd say I did like some of the kind of Motor City Machine Guns matches, but this one really stood out. It opened the show and made me so excited for the rest of the show. I'm with you. Josh Alexander, we've been talking about his character a bit over the last few weeks and how we don't perhaps see him as a babyface, but if he continues to just wrestle this way and put on great matches, I completely buy it. Like, I'd like to see him and Rich Swann tie it up as well. Like, there's a good crop of people that I think Josh Alexander is going to pull better matches out of. I really enjoyed this, and by far match of the night for me.
Yeah, like my legit only complaint about this match is when Josh Alexander had that ankle lock on TJP. TJP he sold it real well, but see the thing was that kind of took me out just a little bit was when it was TJP's time to like make his comeback. Like he just like his leg and his ankle was just like completely fine. Like he just wasn't almost about to tap out. Like I'm like, you could have like he just sprung right to the top rope to hit his frog splash, and I was like, dude, like, and it wasn't like something that like completely took me out the match, but it was one of those things like you literally was in an ankle lock for like damn
for a long
5
time.
minutes. Like you know what I'm saying? It was just one of those things where I was like, I wish you could have added that little part in there.
He'll say it's adrenaline and momentum. There you go. But yeah, I'm with you because he did have that ankle lock in for a while. After the match, what I also loved about this was no commercial breaks. I kind of kept waiting. I kept thinking we were gonna break it up with commercials, but this was right through, which really does help with the enjoyment of a match, I feel.
Yeah, Davey, I know you're getting tired of seeing that Bully Ray winning the TNA World Heavyweight title every time.
Yeah, if you watch on Twitch rather than Access, you get to see Bully Ray win the title. Amazing Red upset Samoa Joe. Steiner maths about 3 times a show every week.
Oh my goodness.
We go backstage and we see Gia Miller, who asks why Tommy Dreamer was in management's office. Dreamer says that Moose ruined something very special on Saturday, so he wants to teach him a lesson, and he's got a match signed for tonight. It's going to be old school rules, Tommy Dreamer against Moose, because you know what? Moose really pissed him off.
Hashtag what, Davey?
Dreamer with the pen? Tommy with the pen? What were you saying just before we started this about Tommy?
So Dreamer did an interview with Busted Open Radio following his match with Swann, and he alluded that he was going to be slightly stepping away from the on-screen portion of Impact and be focusing more on his producer and creative writing roles. And lo and behold, Here he is, main event. Tommy Dreamer, Tommy with the pen, and he's but he put Gia Miller over big, man. Called her Mean Gia, so it looked like that's gonna be her nickname going forward. A salute to Mean Gia Oakland. So I thought it was a cool little bit for her. That's a good way to incorporate the. And I'm a big fan of always trying to include the the announcers and stuff in the show, like in that, just act like they're not like human beings standing there and stuff like that. So that was a cool little bit.
100%. It's something I've noticed on NXT a lot more recently, that it seems to actually be WWE as a whole. They're kind of getting Kayla a bit more. Kind of, she's had a bit of back and forth with Roman. They seem to have gone away from that. These are like microphone stands, and trying to bring a bit more personality. And I appreciate it so much more. I think it helps the wrestlers as well. If you've got someone you can bounce off of promo-wise, rather than just talking to a brick wall, it's so much better. So I agree. I think Mean Gia, let's try and get that to stick.
Yeah.
So we go to Brian Myers, who approaches Hernandez, and they had a little deal going into No Surrender that if they beat Eddie Dennis and Matt Cardona, Brian Myers would pay Hernandez. So he paid him half of the money up front and the other half after winning the match. Hernandez thinks Myers has been trying to dodge him and goes, no, I'm a man of my word. Here's the rest of the money. And then Brian says, how about we do the same deal tonight? If you beat Cardona tonight, you're going to get half now and half once you finish the job. And as he's doing this, Fallah Bahh comes up behind and says, oh, just the guy I've been looking for. He calls that money crumbs and that he can get them the whole cookie. Hernandez is a bit confused and he says, don't you have a bit of a gambling problem? But Fallah promises that he can turn his money into fortunes. If you give me $20, I can make it 40. So Hernandez, a little curious, goes, all right, well, how about we start off? I give you 10 and you try and make it 20. So Fallah Bahh takes the $10 and walks off laughing. So, Fallah Bahh is obviously going to try and get into Swingers Palace a bit later, see what he can do with this money. But
Fallah the Forex trader.
Fallah Bahh's worse with money than I am, I think, and that's saying something. We go to Matt Striker and D'Lo Brown, who are talking about the relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling as they're kind of selling the fact that FinJuice, David Finlay and Juice Robinson, almost said Finn Balor there, are at Impact tonight for a tag team match, and kind of allude to the fact that we might be seeing more talents from New Japan down the line. We go to an X Division Fatal 4-Way match. Willie Mack taking on Daivari, Suicide, and Trey Miguel.
David, I want to ask you, bro, did you know Daivari is only 36, bro?
Really? He's been... That they said here he's been wrestling for 20 years?
He has.
Wow. That's crazy. British style, starting young. Yeah.
I'm telling you, because it's crazy, because I remember him from, of course, like, the stuff with Muhammad Hassan and
for sure.
That whole back and forth thing that he had with him. And like that seemed like that was like 2005. So Daivari, he had to be like what, 22, 21. He was a young
in
dude,
WWE. Must have been really young.
It's crazy because I was like, dude, I looked it up. I was wondering how old Daivari was, because I remember I was listening to an interview he did, and he was like, people always assume like I'm like this old dude, but he didn't say his age. And for some reason that interview came in my head when I was watching the match, and I was like, how old is Daivari? This dude is 36, bro. I was like, he is not old at all, and he was producing at WWE for a couple of years, so he'd burned about like a good 3 years. So it's crazy, man, to still see, like, to know that he's not even old at all in the slightest.
No, and he looks like he ate the old Daivari, because he is jacked, this dude. Just got corrected by the Twitch room. I said Eddie Dennis. I meant Eddie Edwards, obviously.
There you go.
So the bell rings and Daivari jumps Willie Mack immediately. There are drop kicks from Trey and Suicide, which takes Daivari out of the ring for a while. They then go at it, the two of them, Trey and Suicide, just both showing off their speed, their counter for counter, jumping all over each other. Very impressive. They attempt to hit a double team move on Mack, but he shoulder blocks them both down. Then Suicide sends Mack and Trey to the outside. He goes to the top, going to jump off, but Daivari comes back in and knocks him to the mat. Daivari's now beating down on Suicide. Mack powerbombs Daivari. He catches Suicide and slams him, then hits the Samoan drop to Trey and hits his standing moonsault to both Trey and Suicide, which was very impressive. Then there's a missile dropkick from Daivari taking down Mack. Suicide takes him out with a crossbody, and then we get the top rope Meteora from Trey Miguel to Suicide. And 1, 2, 3, Trey Miguel wins in 4 minutes, 52 seconds.
There you go, man. I wanted you to I had thoughts on this match, of course, but I wanted you to read the post match because I think it was a nice little foil for Trey Miguel coming off of his win.
Yeah, so after the match, Trey comes to the back and Sami Callihan is there ready to congratulate him. And he goes, yeah, well, you won now, but when is the next time you're just going to leave with your tail between your legs? You lost at No Surrender, and that's because you ain't got passion. As he gets really close to Trey. Obviously, this is the feud. This is the next big match they're going for. Was quite surprised actually we didn't see Trey Miguel win at No Surrender, but I'm glad they're continuing this story here and gave him a win under his belt right here. What were your thoughts on the match?
So I did like the match a lot. I felt like Trey, I felt like since he's come back, Impact has done like a really good job of spotlighting him and putting him in really good spots. Like even in the tag match that happened last week, I believe, or the week before that, like they really did a good job of making sure Trey got all his spots in, and he had a lot of giftable moments. Like Trey is very, very talented in the ring. So I felt like I felt like all 4 people, Suicide, Daivari, and Willie Mack, along with Trey, had good showings. But Trey just has been very. You can tell they're building Trey up for something, and I think it's gonna be an X Division title win at some point down the line. But I really like the foil that is Sami Callihan kind of, calling Trey out on this shit. Like, hey, well, so you just think you gonna come back here and, you just gonna get it all handed to you because you were literally you literally thought about leaving us, but then I guess it didn't work out for you. So now you want to come back. And I like that thing because like the one thing I really like about heels that like it's specifically Sami Callihan in this situation. I like that he's the heel where he's making good points and you can't disagree with him. Like he's just expressing his dislike for Trey in a way that's very heelish, but
yeah,
like he's making like all good points and he's not lying. You can't call out anything he's saying because he's telling the truth. So I really like that dynamic that they got going on, and I think it's a good hurdle for Trey Miguel to get over, and it'll give him some edge for his character when he goes and faces TJP for the X Division title, which I think is going to happen.
I think that's where Sami is going to be good in this, and mainly to help Trey Miguel. Trey is great in the ring. I find him so entertaining. He really fits the kind of style that is very popular in 2021, kind of just high-flying, non-stop action. But in the past, when he's had chances to do some kind of promos and backstage stuff, I'm thinking of the story like last year when he was taken out, he was attacked, and then he started to distrust the Rascals a bit. He was really good. Now, if you just have him in a feud against TJP, I can't see you really getting that out of him. I can't see you getting that acting and the backstage segments and the promo with someone like a TJP, whereas Sami Callihan is really going to draw that out of him. Because Callahan's great on the mic. He's a great heel. I think he's really going to help Trey step up when it comes to the kind of acting and storytelling aside from the ring work.
Mm-hmm.
The match for me was a little... it was under 5 minutes. It was a little formulaic. It was just the usual. Everyone kind of hit their stuff and people waiting on the outside, as these multi-man matches usually are. But it was still entertaining, and you're right, the focus was on Trey, and I think it did a good job there. We're in Scott D'Amour's office, who congratulates TJP on his successful defense. That's when Ace Austin enters, carrying the X Cup, the Super X Cup that he won a couple of months ago. He says he won this a while ago, and he still hasn't had his one-on-one X Division title shot yet. As Austin's doing this, he's putting his feet up on the desk, which D'Amore slaps off. D'Amore says that there are a lot of people that have been having a good showing and deserve a shot at the title. So he suggests next week we're going to have a 6-man tag, and the winning team of that will go on to face each other in a triple threat match the following week, and the winner of that match will then be the number 1 contender.
Long-term booking.
Yeah. Austin says, you can make me jump through as many hoops as you like. The outcome will be inevitable. And then he walks out. Austin seemed like the babyface here, right?
he really is a babyface because, like, I was going to ask you, I was like, what wasn't him winning the Super X Cup, like, guaranteed him a X Division title match? Like, wasn't that the whole point of the tournament, to crown the number 1 contender to the X Division title? Like,
and instead, he got put in another multi-man gauntlet triple threat match, and now he's got to do this. And yeah, I feel really bad for the guy.
He got Cardona, Davie. That's what he got. That was his reward for the. But yeah, man. Ace has like the Ace Austin character legit has legitimate right to the X Division title, and I think this is like you want to know what, this is a good problem to have, like, as far as the X Division goes, because you got 2 separate stories going on and 2 guys who legit have claim to the title. Like, you can either go the 3-way route with the champion the champion and then Trey Miguel and then Ace Austin, or you can do Trey versus Ace in a singles, and both of them have legit claims to the championship. Like, Josh Alexander already lost his match, so the next 2 up are obviously first in line is Ace and then it's Trey. So like they Impact has a good problem to have as far as the X Division goes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can definitely see them going back to Trey Miguel and Ace Austin down the line for that X Division title. Yeah, just it seemed a weird dynamic here, just stacking the odds against the heel who won a tournament to legit have a shot. Even TJP just chilling in management's office seemed a bit heelish, like just schmoozing with the boss, you know?
Yeah, TJP's a real life heel, so yeah, I think you can ask anybody on Twitter and they'll let you know about TJP.
Yeah, well, one of the problems when doing a review show, complicated personalities we have to talk about. Let's put it that way. We go to our next match of the evening. It's Hernandez being accompanied to the ring by Brian Myers versus always ready Matt Cardona. Cardona sends Hernandez over the top rope and hits a tope con hilo. He lands this kind of funny. He just sort of sits on his back for a couple of seconds. I don't know if you noticed this, Andrew.
This was the point in the show when I was hitting the deep.
Starting to struggle. The ref gets a little bit distracted by Myers. Cardona goes for radio silence, but gets popped up into a low blow as the referee's back is turned. After the commercials, we see Cardona come back with a missile dropkick. Hernandez goes for the border toss, but Cardona escapes and hits the radio silence. 1, 2, 3, and Matt Cardona beats Hernandez in 7 minutes 42 seconds.
Yeah, so I caught the finish. It was like what does he call it? It's not the Rough Rider anymore.
The radio silence.
The radio silence. And like Hernandez, like the way he took it, it made it seem like a jumping Bronco Buster. Like he jumped straight on like Hernandez. He took it so weird, bro. It was hilarious. But I was gonna let you get into the post match with Myers and Cardona, because I genuinely did like that, and I was gonna tell you why after you broke it down.
So yeah, I didn't think a whole lot of the match. The commercial break was actually longer than anything that was on the TV. It just seemed very basic for me.
What was that? The Eddie Edwards and Lashley match?
Probably one of the 2 times they played that. Gia Miller enters the ring to interview Cardona afterwards. And Cardona says, look, I'm not here for Brian Myers. I've been wrestling for 18 years. I'm not here to pass the torch. I'm here to light a new one. And that's when Myers comes in the ring and says, hey, look, this is my place. Why do you have to copy me? Why do you have to follow where I go? Cardona's like, dude, what's your deal? Why are you this moody Myers all the time? What's going on with you? What's changed? And as he's saying this, Cardona gets attacked from behind by Hernandez. Eddie Edwards then runs out to help. And as all the struggle's going on, Cardona elbows Myers in the bad eye-patched eye. It seemed to me here that was the only kind of physical interaction between Myers and Cardona. So it kind of seemed like they are still reluctant to fight each other, but Cardona accidentally elbowing Myers seemed to put an end to that. What did you make of this? You said you quite were high on this segment.
Yeah, so I did like it just because like it was so simple from Cardona. Like it was kind of something that was been sitting on my mind since he came to Impact and been having these interactions with Myers. Like Cardona was like, dude, everybody here knows we're friends. Why the hell are you acting so weird? And like I was like, there we go. Finally, he said it. Like I just really like that because it was just something that was like really on my mind. I was like, bro, everybody knows these dudes are like the bestest of friends. They literally do a podcast together every day. Like everybody knows they're cool and they're tight. Like, and I get it's in the storyline purpose, but it was just like with these two, I don't think that dynamic works well because they're literally together in so many other different areas in professional wrestling, like podcasts, and so it was just kind of weird. And I like that Cardona kind of addressed that, and I'm looking forward to see how Myers kind of explains why he has an issue. I mean, he kind of did. He said that he felt like Cardona was trying to copy him by coming to Impact, and it kind of makes sense. So, I mean, I just like their explanations. Like, I'm not really that big on seeing them, like, you know, go into this whole deep storyline thing, but I did think they provided some reasonable explanations, you know, on their respective behalves.
Yeah, I mean, we're all so connected now with social media and stuff. We know what's going on. So it is kind of jarring when you see them doing their podcast and all that, and then they're feuding. But the way they explained it, it's almost like, you know, when you move from like your secondary school to high school and you're with different kids and you might move to the same school with one of your best mates, but then they're kind of ignoring you a bit because, I don't know, maybe they think you're a bit dorky or whatever, and they're trying to make new friends, but they'll hang out with you outside school. And it's like, dude, what's going on? Maybe I'm just talking from personal experience here, and I'm just letting out all these childhood traumas, but that's the kind of feeling I was getting with this story. Like, hey, we were hanging out last night, and now you're being fucking weird again. What's going on, dude?
It made sense, though. That's the crazy thing.
It does. We go to one of our paid ads from AEW's Tony Schiavone and Tony Khan.
Angry Tony Khan this week, Davey.
He's angry. Angry. He's not emotional this week. He's angry. They're both wearing heart-shaped, rose-coloured glasses. Tony's holding some heart-shaped balloons because obviously it was Valentine's Day. How was your Valentine's Day, Andrew?
I had a wonderful weekend, Davey. I think that's all I need. I had a great weekend, man.
Oi.
I had a great weekend, man. I was with my lady all weekend, bro. We had some fun times, bro. It was a very, very enjoyable weekend, man. It was a memorable one.
Very nice. I'm happy for you. Tony says that he didn't get any gifts this year. This is Tony Khan. He said, no one ever gives to Tony Khan, but I give. I'm giving to everyone. He says, even this ad is a gift. I'm giving this away. And, you know, my accountant even said I can write this off as a charitable donation.
That was so disrespectful.
Oh, I loved it. So disrespectful. He then starts to run down tomorrow's episode of Dynamite featuring the Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful for the AEW tag team titles. He says, good brothers, this could have been you if you didn't screw around. That decision was a poor decision, just like the ones Impact management and wrestlers always make. He says, you helped me open the forbidden door, and that door is me. And tomorrow, anybody could show up. Also on tomorrow, Sting is going to call out Team Taz for the 84th time. We're going to have Serena Deeb versus Riho in the women's tournament. The Hardy Party versus TH2, and I didn't quite catch who the partner is there. And then we've got the six-man main event, Eddie Kingston with Butcher and the Blade taking on Jon Moxley, Lance Archer, and Rey Fenix.
Hey, David, real quick before we before we dive into it, I'm telling you, I might have to stop on for a quick cameo appearance on BD Elite, because that Riho and Serena Deeb match, I don't know what it is, but I'm like unnecessarily amped for this match, and I think I'm about to ruin it for myself. Like, because I have like unnecessarily like high expectations for this. I don't know. I mean, maybe just because I haven't seen Rio wrestle in the States, and I know she's been wrestling for wrestling Stardom, but like I don't know why I have these like this absurdly high expectations for this match. Like, maybe just because I think the world of Serena Deeb as a wrestler, and I just haven't seen Rio in the States in a while, so I don't know what it is. But like you might be seeing me pop up in the chat or making a cameo appearance on BD Elite. I'm telling y'all to come rave about this match.
Absolutely. BD Elite, 1 p.m. on twitch.tv/upnext podcast on Thursday. That's 1 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, I'm super looking forward to that match. I'm with you. I haven't seen Rio wrestle for so long, so it's kind of exciting.
Bro, it's been, what, since March 2020?
Pretty much a year, yeah. And Serena Deeb was my pick of AEW's Women's Wrestler of the Year last year. I think every match she's had, she's just so smooth in the ring and really brings out the best of her opponents. I think that's going to be really good.
Can you believe they had her up in the Performance Center for all these years? And she was like, I mean, of course she played obviously a big role in, helping anchor that, produce that class of, talents that we look at today as the quote unquote pillars of the women's evolution in WWE. But like, damn, bro, they had Serena Deeb this whole time, and like she just been a coach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a coach. Like she's great, bro. She can wrestle. Like she's like really great at what she does. Like, it's kind of crazy to me that they would like not try to, if she's teaching some of your best female talents, some of your best wrestlers, like you would think like somebody, a signal would go off in your brain, like, how about you try to wrestle? Like, how about we get you on TV? Yeah. But it's crazy, man.
For me, it's a shame that this is a first round match, as you'd kind of like to see more matches from the tournament from these two. I kind of predict Rio to win, because then she can have a NWA title shot down the line and go to the rematch. But I think tomorrow's AEW looks pretty good.
Remember that plug, ladies and gentlemen. BD Elite, 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Thursday, Eastern Time. Thank you, Andrew. Tony then asks what Shivani's favourite movie is. Shivani says, well, it's The Godfather. Khan says, me too. Goes, favourite character? Goes, Michael Corleone. Goes, well, me too. He says, you know what? Eddie Kingston reminds me of him. He runs a tight business, runs a great family, and this is Tony's present to Eddie. I'm giving Eddie this match. This is my Valentine's gift to him, but careful what you wish for. You might just get it. And then he closes by saying, Kenny, there's a very special Valentine's present for you, and I can't wait for you to have it.
Or that AEW World Title announcement for Revolution. I'm calling it. I'm calling it.
Okay. What, Mox, do you assume?
I feel like Mox is literally like the safe option. Like, I feel like if we were like betting, I feel like that's the safest thing to do is go Mox. But like I just feel like it's something else. Like I don't think anybody's gonna sit here and complain about seeing Mox versus Omega again. But like I feel like since Tony kind of built it as like a big, so he didn't like overdo it, but like it just seemed like it was something more than. I'm not gonna say more than Mox, but like it just seemed like it was somebody different that it could be presented for Omega for Revolution.
Do you think someone off roster?
Yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm going off roster. But I just can't think of who. Like I really can't, because I mean, like the thing is, like Mox got the match against Kenta next week for NJPW Sean for the IWGP US Heavyweight title. And I think most of us are assuming that New Japan probably wants that damn title back. So Mox is probably going to end up losing, or maybe he won't. But like, okay, so let's say just for, just thinking about it, like if he loses that match, I'm pretty sure you won't want him going into already announced match with Omega, and he's coming off a real big loss, and then he ends up losing to Omega again, and that's one of your top guys. And then if he wins the match against Kenta, then you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of like dynamics and like weird like points that you can go into with this, I just think being Mark is the safe option. I'm gonna just say that that's the safe option to bet on.
Somewhere in the six right now, Braden Harrington's just screaming Kota Ibushi. Kota
Here we go.
Ibushi! Endgame! Yeah, I don't see them going to Ibushi yet, but we could see someone off roster. I know what you mean about the Mox thing. I feel that's the most built match, though, and I think maybe throw a gimmick on there or something to raise the stakes a bit. But I see it being Moxley going for that title. And I was just corrected by the room. The tag match is Matt Hardy and Hangman taking on TH2. So what did you make of this this segment? I think these have started to go a bit up and down in quality for me. Some weeks are better than others. I'm starting to enjoy the little gimmicks they're bringing each week. Like this week was the hearts, the Valentine's Day theme. I did love that charitable donation line. What did you make of this?
So I'm really liking Angry Tony Khan. This is my favorite Tony Khan right here, the one who is talk like I think it was kind of good to see this version back because I know over the past 2 weeks you and I were kind of like, you know, the segments were kind of like skippable. I guess like they weren't really as prominent as they were, but I feel like it was a good break to not have him just like completely trash and Impact every week, because then it gets, you know, repetitive. But like we haven't seen it in like 2 weeks, so now it's like a, you know, like a, oh, I remember that type thing. So I think it was a like it was a cool way to kind of break that up a little bit and reintroduce the quote unquote evil Tony Khan.
Yeah, and this one actually felt more like a genuine ad. Like this actually successfully got me hyped for tomorrow, whereas I felt the previous ones are more at just getting a dig in at Impact all the time.
Right.
But this was fun.
I'm about to say, Dave, I wanted to mention something real quick regarding AEW. I don't know if anybody has noticed, but Suzuki-gun is not booked for this Road to Castle Attack tour. So, yeah, Minoru Suzuki, ladies and gentlemen, is not on this Road to Castle Attack tour. So, look, you look. We can speculate all day. Maybe Minoru is, or whoever else from Suzuki-gun is quarantining right now. You never know. But they are not on this tour. So I mean, maybe it's just a happenstance that, you know, they just not on the tour, and, you know, that is what it is. But hey, you know, a man can dream, can he?
So does that include Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. aren't part of the tour?
So I haven't, as I'm looking right now, I do not see Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. I haven't seen Suzuki at all. I really haven't seen Kanemaru or Desperado for the Road to Castle Attack shows that's coming up this week. Like I haven't come across their names at all. And the 21st, the show on the 21st is canceled, so that card is doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, man, for the shows going through the 27th, I'm looking at right now. Yeah, Suzuki-gun isn't on the card, bro.
So you're telling me Revolution, Kenny Omega versus Doki. I'm excited, Andrew. I'm excited.
Davie with the pen, brother.
We go backstage where Havoc is approached by her tag team partner, Nevaeh. Havoc says, hey, what's going on? You left after No Surrender. Nevaeh says, look, we lost again. Like, we keep losing. I keep losing. Where do we go from here? Should we even be a team? And as she says that, Tenille Dashwood walks in and just admits it. She goes, yeah, I was eavesdropping. I was listening. And listening to you reminded me of one of my favorite quotes. Every week, Tenille Dashwood seems to have one of these awful quotes. And she says, it's trust the timing of your life. And she says, look, it just so happens I'm trying to find a new tag partner, and you, Havoc, want to get rid of excess baggage. Nevaeh gets mad and she's like, whoa, look, I'm right here. You're talking about me. And she challenges her to a match. Tenille agrees and says, when I beat you, I can show Havoc who the best partner is. Tenille walks off and Havoc says, "Don't worry about it. I'm with you. I've got your back." But Nevaeh says, "I gotta do this on my own." And walks towards the ring as the camera zooms in on Havoc looking sad.
Man, Davie, I know me and you are like a broken record with the same conversation, but man, like the last time I think I found the Tenille Dashwood character slash Emma character interesting in any way, shape, or form was when she was in NXT. And like my fondest memory of her was when she had that takeover in London crowd. I think it was like, dude, she had them people hooked. And then like I think she had like a really decent run in Ring of Honor. I think they should have put the title on her, but they didn't. But like, dude, it's like I can't get into anything she's doing. Like and it's like it's kind of like frustrating as a fan because I feel like she could be doing so much more, bro. Like I feel like she's like literally a star, but like she's just not. Like I don't know, bro. Like maybe like that like and I'm trying to choose my words carefully here as far as like, you know, because you don't want to be like, oh, somebody doesn't have the quote unquote like fire anymore. Like I think that's, you know, kind of a stretch to say, but it just seems like it isn't like clicking. I don't know if that's just me, but it just seems like it hasn't been hitting for her like an impact.
No, I'm with you. And it seems to carry through to her matches as well, whereas I just don't think not that she's given a lot to kind of play with, but I just don't think she's there as a wrestler as much as she used to be, and I kind of just want to see her have a serious match against a Deonna or a Jordan Grace just to see, does she still have it, because I'm really not seeing it. And this Caleb with a K team with her is just death. I think
it needs to be over, bro.
It really does. Like, have someone hack her Instagram account, or she gets blocked from all social media and she can't do that anymore, and she comes back as the wrestler Tenille Dashwood, because it's disappointing to see. Yeah, go for it.
No, I was just about to say, like, you want to know what's crazy? Like, me and you have been talking about how Deonna isn't doing anything. Dude, why don't you set up something with Tenille and Deonna? Set up something like,
absolutely.
It's right there. Do a title match on Impact, have it main event the show.
Yeah, I'm with you. Completely with you. This really isn't working. We go to Reno Scum taking on FinJuice. Juice Robinson and David Finlay coming from New Japan Pro Wrestling. The match starts and we get very quick tags from FinJuice, who keep on hitting sort of double axe handles to the arm of Luster the Legend, followed up by a double bulldog. Lots of tag team moves here. Luster comes back with a spine buster to Finlay and then rubs Finlay's face in Adam Thornstow's armpit. Disgusting. Before making the hot tag to Juice Robinson. Juice comes in. He's hitting his jabs to both. A senton splash. The left hand of God to Luster the Legend. A rolling cannonball to Thornstow. I said cannibal. Cannonball. Not Hannibal Lecter. Rolling cannonball to Thornstow. Luster then gets Juice set up for their finish, but Finlay manages to make the save, and we get the superplex frog splash combo from FinJuice, pinning Reno Scum in 4 minutes 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was a quick one. But I think it did what it needed to do. No need to, you know, try to over display David Finlay and Juice Robinson. I think most of the audience tuned in know what they can do. Have seen them, you know, at the top of the mountain as far as the tag team division goes in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, yeah, I think this match did what it needed to do. David Finlay and Juice Robinson, that's a nice gift for Impact. On the U.S. side, I think that's a nice shot in the arm for the tag team division. And of course, I know you can get into the post match, but I really like the little small New Japan connection that they had between themselves and the Good Brothers.
Yeah, I didn't think much of the match, but it was just to kind of get their faces out there. I assume they'll be around for this whole taping, which will be, 4 or 5 episodes, something like that. Juice Robinson especially has a bit of name value. Obviously, people might remember him from the NXT days, but obviously more recently, his singles run, having the US title, he's been in the G1, so some name value there as well with this team. After the match, the Good Brothers come out and they say, I love seeing the young boys coming to another territory, and then they start reminiscing. Hey, remember when Carl went to the G1 finals in 2012 and we won the IWGP Tag Team Championships a lot? And we'd just like to introduce you here to Impact Wrestling. So how about after work, we can go out, we can have some beers, and then Gallows suggests, even better, how about you good young boys go to Talk and Shop and buy some Talk and Shop whiskey, and you can party with us like the old days. Robinson says, hey man, look, we'd love to drink and party, but this ain't 2015, and we're not young boys anymore. So they says, look, we'll stay and drink with you, but as long as Gallows makes sure Anderson doesn't fall asleep before midnight in his own piss. And the Good Brothers look kind of mad at this, and they're just staring at each other for a long time before this segment ends.
Davey, did you feel like that joke was like a little bit of an inside joke right there between them? I don't know if that was just me when you said like and that he hopes Anderson don't wake up, like I guess covered in himself. Like I felt like that was like an inside joke between them that only they know. I was like, I don't know why I caught that, but it just seemed like a real funny line to me and very specific. So it was kind of hilarious. But like one thing that I did like about the segment was when I think it was Anderson who said it. He was like, wow. He was like, I know we're making more money than them. So I was that popped the hell out of me right there. That was hilarious.
Yeah. This was enjoyable. I like the Good Brothers on the mic, and I assume this will be the next Impact Plus pay-per-view tag match. Do you assume?
Yeah, probably. I'm trying to think of what you think they're gonna name the next one? The next lock. I mean, I was about to say Lockdown, but I feel like that happened already.
But I mean, it doesn't say much about your own tag division, right? If you're having Private Party from AEW against the champions, and then FinJuice, I think it's cool, but it makes you realize that they're kind of low on tag teams in their own company.
Who else is in the Impact Tag Team division besides Saban and Storm and the Good Brothers? Like you got Ace and Madman Fulton, but Ace is kind of busy doing bigger things right now. Like who legit? I mean, you could do.
Is that it?
Bro, you could do Rohit and Mahabali Shir. I'm guessing. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because the interaction they had with Storm and Saban, so maybe that could be one.
True. Yeah, I mean, that would give something for Rohit to do, but yeah, their tag division seems very threadbare right now. Oh, because we've lost the Rascals and the North, essentially, haven't we? Which were two big teams in your division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And David, we got to mention, man, what a hell of a start for NXT for Dez and Zach Wentz, man. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. You watched all the TakeOver?
Yeah, I see all the TakeOvers, man. That Davey, I'm telling you, bro, there is nothing more that makes me happy as a fan than seeing a tandem or a person who everybody knows is hella talented and they get pushed right out of the gate. They're literally pushing these two to the moon, bro. Like there's no reason they shouldn't win the NXT tag team titles, bro. Like legit no reason. Like there's no reason why they shouldn't. Yeah. Like they literally have all the momentum, bro.
Yeah, I think they're great. As I've mentioned on this show before, I got into Impact when the pandemic started. So I'm coming up to my anniversary, never watched TNA in the past or whatever. Hadn't even heard of these guys before I started watching Impact. And they were the highlights for me every week on Impact Wrestling. So when I heard they were signed to NXT, I was really happy for them. And to see them being, as you said, pushed the way they have, not only pushed the way they have, but putting on a really, really good match.
That match was crazy.
If you told me that was your match of the night, I wouldn't argue with you. I'm still torn between three of the matches on the show, which one I like the best. That tag match was insane and really, really happy for those guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it seems like the Rascal split, like going back to Impact, and the Rascal split kind of worked out for everybody because I feel like Trey is kind of heading in that same direction, but his is kind of like more of a slow burn where like it seems like Wesley and Nash Carter, like they kind of like got skyrocketed, like they like right out of the gate, and Trey's comeback is kind of, like me and you talked about earlier about it seems like he's gonna have to get through Sammy Callahan to get to that, that ultimate big moment. And in terms of Wesley and Nash Carter, it seems like they right on the cusp, bro.
Absolutely. We go to a bar where we see Rohit Raju with Shera, and Rohit is saying, there is no reason why I shouldn't be X Division champion right now. Oh wait, there is a reason. It's you. He says that Shera cost him the match and it's all his fault. Shera grabs him by the arm, but when Rohit shrugs him off, he falls back and bumps into James Storm, who's right behind him. Storm says, look, we can have a fun night tonight. We can put that behind us. All you need to do is apologize to me. Rohit says, well, what if I don't want to apologize? So he gets a glass smashed in his head. Shera then steps in and him and Storm square off, the two big men here, facing each other. That's when the bartender tells them to calm down. And you see James Storm tip the bartender when Johnny Swinger comes in and says, forget this sawdust place. I got a palace. And Swinger gets them to go with him, Sabin and Storm. And as they're leaving, Swinger picks up the tip that Storm gave to the bartender. So this team of Shera and Rohit has been together about, 10 days? And there's already dissension between them. But as you mentioned in the last segment, it seems like we're building up to maybe Storm and Sabin versus Shera and Rohit, which could actually be quite good. You got the two big men there, and then I'm sure Rohit and Sabin will be great together as well. And if we can get some singles matches along the way, I think that would be a pretty good feud.
Yeah, I definitely think if you're not going to have Rohit right back in the X Division title picture, then tag team title saying ain't too bad.
No, absolutely not. Because we were a bit worried what happens for him next after not winning the championship.
We're getting cracked over the head with beer bottles, so
a
rough start.
We go to Swinger's Palace.
Yes.
Sabin says it reminds him of WrestleMania 9. We've got Johnny Bravo, who's the croupier. Alicia Edwards is just hanging out. We've got Swinger's ladies are in there. Sabin and Storm are both given a Bud Light. And then, Andrew, what happened here? Storm just decided he wanted to rap. So he got Sabin to start beatboxing, and he rapped at Alicia Edwards. It was very strange.
The Storm has no future in music. I'm gonna just say that right now. This was that was horrible. But what I will say, what was great about it, dude. I already told you, like I'm like a very, like I've become very an on and off fan of Johnny Swinger.
Yeah.
Like I feel like some weeks like they kind of overdo it, and then and then some weeks they hit it on the head, and I feel like this week they hit it on the head. Like that music that they play in the background, like that 70s club party music is hilarious. Like it just adds to the overall feel. And then the funniest thing, or the wildest thing I should say, is when he said, you don't know crabs until you've been with Bob Seger's ex-girlfriend, and then the music cut. And then everybody looked at him like, what the hell you just say? And then he said, well, what did I say, Daddy? And then the music cut back on, and everybody kept going, went back to what they did. That like, I'm Swinger, like when it works, it works. But like, it's just crazy because when it doesn't, like it really doesn't.
I think it's the thing with a lot of these characters, R-Truth as well. If it's in one like zinger of a line and then out, it's quite funny. It's when you have the zinger and then you stay around and you try and make more jokes out of it. And it's, no, you got your laugh, leave. And this segment definitely got that laugh from me. It might be one of my favorite Swinger lines. So we had Fuller Bar come in with the $10 he got from Hernandez. He says, hit me. So Sabin hits him. Bravo deals the cards, and Fuller Bar is bust. He's out. He's lost his money already. And Johnny Swinger gets the Swingerellas to throw him out. Alicia tells him to give him a break and have a heart. He says, look, he's clearly hurting. And that's when Swinger says, you don't know hurt until you've caught crabs off of Bob Seger's ex-girlfriend. I can't believe they had this line in here. This made me like audibly laugh out loud. Yeah. What's with crabs in wrestling?
Man, I'm telling you, like I don't know what the hell is going on with that. Because that line kind of caught me. That's why I laughed. Like I mentioned that earlier. Like that line got me. That was like genuinely funny, and it was kind of wild as hell to hear that. But yeah, man. Like again, like when Swinger's on, he's on. Like when he's off, like it doesn't hit. Like I feel like I don't know what it is, Davey. Like we got an on and off thing going here with Johnny Swinger.
I wonder if he just kind of goes out there, does his own thing, and then sees if it will pass or not.
Yeah.
Like goes, is there quality control here?
Right.
Let's just say this, see if it stays in the show.
I really feel like they just let Swinger do his thing. Like they just like Swinger, you say your stuff, and then we gonna move forward how we move forward.
Yeah. Moving forward, our next match is Tenille Dashwood with Caleb with a K taking on Nevaeh. Tenille takes down Nevaeh early and gives her a noogie. Nevaeh then hits a sliding clothesline for a 2. Tenille fights back after a little distraction from Caleb. Both are down. Nevaeh comes back hitting a STO, followed by a seated bulldog for a 2 count. Nevaeh keeps on going for pins and starts to look desperate and frustrated when Tenille's kicking out. Tenille hits the Emma sandwich in the corner, the low crossbody, followed by a boot to the head, and 1, 2, 3, Tenille Dashwood pins Nevaeh in 9 minutes, 8 seconds.
Davey, this was part of my deep sleep impact. So
Yeah.
I don't have much to say about this. I know me and you kind of broke the whole Tenille thing down earlier. Dude, like set up something with Deanna, because Deanna's like literally just your Impact Knockouts champion waiting in the wings for a singles match. I'm enjoying the stuff they're doing with Susan and Kimberly a little bit, but like don't lose the essence of what made Deanna special when she first came into Impact. Like, don't lose that. Don't like it's okay to like incorporate character and stuff. Like, I never have an issue with that. I feel like you can't just be like if you're a TV wrestler, I should say, you can't just be, oh yeah, that person's a great wrestler. If you're gonna want to achieve the success that many want to achieve, you gotta have like that extra layer on you. And I feel like they're kind of like leaning too much into the whole character aspect of Deanna, and I feel like they're losing like that thing that made her like so her character so like kind of special. Like when she first came into Impact, like she was just a fantastic wrestler. And she still is, but I mean, like, we haven't really seen that over the past couple weeks. So they like, dude, just set something up with Deanna. Like, have her wrestle Tenille for the title. Like, build up Tenille for a couple weeks and do a big blow off match and give him like 20 minutes.
Absolutely. I would take a hard reset with Tenille. Just get rid of Caleb, get rid of this gimmick, turn her babyface, and challenge Deanna. This match wasn't great. You said you started getting sleepy around this point. I definitely was. This kind of is one of those matches where I start reaching for my phone a little bit. I just did. There was no real flow with it. No real storytelling being told. There didn't seem to be much flow between move to move. I imagine we'll then get Tenille versus Havoc at some point, because Havoc will still not want to team with her. We're teasing the breakup between Havoc and Nevaeh, which, again, like, they're one of the only tag teams in that division. So this didn't do a whole lot for me.
Yeah, we definitely will get Tenille and Havoc at some point. I'm curious, like, would they? I mean, because obviously they did the whole deal where there's gonna be somebody challenging Kiera and Tasha for the tag titles. So yeah, man, it seems like everybody getting their stuff set up. But the Knockouts champion. So hopefully they get that together. But I'm glad to see there being some type of progression in the women's tag title scene. Like, I'm glad we starting to see that kind of move away from Havoc and Nevaeh. Like, hopefully we don't get that rematch again.
Yeah. We get a video from Violent by Design where this one, it's all Dina talking. Eric Young and Joe Doring are with him, but this is all Dina, and it's addressed to Jake something, Cousin Jake. He said, "We offered to be better than yourself, to sit at our table. You declined. You chose heresy and not to seek the truth, and for that you must suffer. You pinned me, but you didn't win. The sickness won. You were forced to suffer what you suffered at the hands of Joe. I need to fix this. This is my family business, and I need to make this right and make you suffer. And for that, next week, we're going to have a tables match. I need to do this on my own. Nothing is more important than family. Thought Dina sounded pretty good here.
Yeah, Dina was somewhat convincing right here, man. I enjoyed the promo for what it was. You know, it was solid. I think they definitely need to continue giving Jake wins over him. Like, I'm sorry, Dina, but you got to take this L. Like I feel like they're treading in the right direction with Jake something, and they need to keep going in that direction. And I think it's only right that, well, you know what? I don't think they're gonna beat Joe Doring in a singles yet, but I feel like the final, of course, me and you have said this, the final boss needs to be Jake something versus Eric Young at some point. That could be one of the Impact Plus shows coming up before the Rebellion pay-per-view, I believe. That's in April. So yeah, man. Dina sounded convincing. Cody Dina sounded convincing, and but yeah, he got to take this L next week against Jake something.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed the match actually at the Impact Plus pay-per-view. I thought they had quite a good match, and Jake came out with names Jake something. He had new music, bit of a different look as well.
There you go.
But yeah, during Jake is the match I'm probably most looking forward to, and I think it could be really, if you can have Jake do some impressive things to the big guy, it could be pretty good.
Ain't nothing wrong with a Halls match.
No, absolutely not. I'm trying to find. I saw a tweet earlier, and I can't. It's escaping me who sent it, but it was about the open doors thing, and with Keiji Muto winning the GHC
heavyweight
championship. Someone was calling out to have a match with Doring and Muto. Did you see that at all?
No. But he did say that during the press conference that he got a offer or like an inquiry about defending his title in the U.S. and Impact Wrestling and stuff like that. Because I think he has wrestled in Impact before. So,
right.
Look, that's a look, y'all. Like I get dream matches and all that, or whatever fantasy booking that you may have. Look, that's a 58-year-old man, bro. Like I respect it. He is a absolute legend in professional wrestling, and it's not even a question. But like, please, no, just no. Look, he need to drop that title to Kaito Kiyomiya. I think that's his name. You need to drop that to him. Give it back to the young gun, man. Please.
So not a fan of Great Muta being the champion right now.
not a fan, but I respect it. You know, he's a legend. So
I heard the match was good.
Bro, that's the thing. They people said it was good.
Hey, if you still got juice in the tank, do it. Why not?
Do it, man. Do it.
We see Deonna and Kimberly, who are chasing after Susan. Susan is just mad that Jazz pinned her, and nobody pins Susan, and she wants to talk to the manager. Deonna tells her to calm down. She says, "We are about championships, and that's not the way we handle our business." Deonna says that, and that's when they approach Scott D'Amore. And Deonna says, "Look, I have a favor I want to ask you, and I never bring up the fact that I'm a 2-times champion, and I'm 2020 Wrestler of the Year, and 2020 Knockout of the Year. But I want you to do a favor for me, and I want Kimberly and Susan to get tag title shots against Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz." D'Amore says he loves the idea, but he saw Jazz pin Susan, and therefore next week it's going to be Susan and Kimberly versus Jazz and Jordan Grace, and the winner of that will be #1 contenders. Susan then looks really excited about something and storms off.
Yeah. So we like
This is
This was
definitely
something.
Sleepy Andrew at this point.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna try to lie, bro. Try to act like I remember what the hell happened in this segment. Like I was trying, to give you something to work with, but Davey, like I was, like
Well,
I was out of it after this.
we're setting up two teams now who are fresh challengers for Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steele. So I'm happy about that. And yeah, Susan again, kind of stealing the show a little bit. I think she's great in this character. She's great as every character.
Scott D'Amore had his Booker hat on tonight, man.
Oh yeah,
number one contender matches galore.
he keeps thinking, right, this will be good next week, but I need something for the week after that as well. He's very much doing long-term booking here.
Smart man.
So next week is confirmed. It's Cousin Jake something versus Dina in a tables match. And we're going to have Willie Mack, Trey, and Alexander taking on Chris Bay, Black Taurus, and Ace Austin in a 6-man tag. And the winning team will go on to a triple threat. And the winner of that triple threat will face TJP for the title. Now, interesting, Black Taurus is here because I assume that this was the slot. I mean, would you assume this was the slot for Sammy Guevara?
That's what, the rumor is, or the report is, that, like you mentioned earlier, like the stuff for Black Taurus was planned for Sammy Guevara. I mean, I guess you can only assume that he was probably going to be in this position. I think it would have been interesting to see how he would have fit into this position, but I just think it would, like, so if that was the case and Sammy Guevara was lined up for this run that is scheduled for Black Taurus, like the thing that would be so weird about it is Sammy is kind of like breaking off into his own on AEW with the Chris Jericho thing, and I feel like him like being into maybe it wouldn't, but at the same time it didn't seem like it was one of those storylines in AEW where he was like, I'm leaving AEW for a little bit, I gotta take some time. I was just like, no, I'm just done with this specific group, like I'm out, and then he just find his own way and they continue feuding with this group. And I feel like it kind of would have just maybe it would have thrown it off a little bit if he would have had this whole other thing with Impact going on. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think it just worked out for the best.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked a run here, and the thing is, it depends if you're gonna if he's gonna enter this X Division scene, is he gonna get the championship, which I guess is unlikely, but I could see maybe a scenario where he wins the X Division championship, and then that can kind of fuel his story with Jericho even more, because you can go, look, as soon as I left you guys, I started winning. I actually won a title. I haven't been in AEW for 18 months and I've won nothing. And then as soon as I leave you guys and do it on my own, I start doing well. But obviously, we don't know what the plan was. But the idea of Chris Bay versus Ace Austin versus Sammy Guevara sounds like that could have been a really cool match. And actually, this 6-man as well, if he was inserted.
See, now that you put it like that, Davey, hey, Sammy, well, why not, brother? Why not?
Yeah.
Go come to Impact, man.
We'll find out one day. There'll be a podcast about it one day.
Oh, yeah, you know it.
We just got to wait.
You know it.
We go to our main event of the evening, Moose versus Tommy Dreamer in an old school rules match. This comes out of the end of No Surrender, where Moose came out and attacked both Rich Swann and Tommy Dreamer, and this pissed off Dreamer, as he said. So Dreamer sends Moose to the outside and hits a baseball slide. There's this dirty rake to the eyes from Moose as they're brawling on the outside. Dreamer takes off his headband and starts choking Moose. There's then a baking tray across the head. Moose starts choking Dreamer with the end of a chair. Riker starts bringing up Tommy Dreamer's career, and they start pushing the idea that maybe it's coming to the end. They're going, when is enough enough? Moose starts going, you're past your prime, you're just a fat piece of garbage. So Dreamer responds by grabbing his dick and squeezing hard. It's a no DQ match. So low blow, getting him back into the match. Moose then runs into a trash can in the corner, allowing Dreamer to hit the cutter, but Moose kicks out on one. There's an STO from Moose to the steel chair. Dreamer then spears Moose through a table, and Moose sells this really well, kind of convulsing as he's gone through this wood, as Dreamer starts firing up, yells, "Come on!" Grabs a kendo stick, starts striking Moose with it, as Moose is yelling, "Is that all you got, Tommy Dreamer?" We then get the big Uranagi from Moose, followed by the spear, and Moose wins in 12 minutes, 57 seconds.
So yeah, man. I really think that they're like really going to wait until the pay-per-view to put the title on Moose. I feel like they're going to throw literally everything to delay this eventual title win for Moose. Like I feel like that's like just the way they're going. Like they're really going to wait until so it's in April, right? The next pay-per-view.
Yes.
So yeah, I like genuinely feel that they're going to wait until the pay-per-view to do the title switch. Like no, I think me and you and Nate kind of thought that they were going to do this on an episode of Impact and kind of build it up or do it on one of the Impact Plus specials. But like I just feel like they're going to throw every little roadblock or everything they can to delay this Moose versus Rich Swann match.
So you think it'll... I'm getting confused because we got Rebellion and Revolution, haven't we? Coming up. Both very similarly named. But you think this will be on the big kind of April show, I think it is.
Yeah, for Impact. Yeah, for Impact show. Not AEW's pay-per-view.
You don't think Kenny will be going for the title by then?
See, you want like... It's kind of... It's like weird, man, because I feel like Omega could go for the title, but at the same time, like I feel like that was like now just seeing how things are kind of cooled down. I know Callis and Omega did the whole thing where they were like they were gonna be taking a break from Impact, but like it kind of feels like that was just something to get things hyped up and make you think he was gonna take the title, or maybe he probably still is. Like we don't know. Like they could always revisit that. We don't know what the long-term plans are as far as this partnership goes. And then you factor in New Japan, some of my, because you got Kenta, and we don't know where that could go. That could just be something to build to the New Beginning in USA show. It could be something more than that. And, I'm gonna throw it, just throwing it out there again. Suzuki-gun is a book for that road to Castle Attack. Just saying, folks. But yeah, man. Like it's a like I think they have like a lot of good, quote unquote, problems as far as like what could happen, and like it's a lot of interesting ways they could go.
Yeah, I do see that Swann versus Moose match happening before then, because we're talking about 2 months before the big pay-per-view. We have the AEW pay-per-view before then. That's why I kind of feel Kenny's taken a bit of a detour and gone back home for a little bit. But his logo is on that Impact pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Great. So I do see him being involved, and I do see it maybe being a title match. But I'm going to put out there, I could see Impact being uncomfortable about giving their title to another company. But we do have this TNA championship that Moose has been carrying around kind of as a prop. I could potentially see that as a compromise almost for Kenny to add to his collection with the TNA title, maybe not the Impact title.
Now see, the only thing I think about that is like the thing with Kenny holding the title, the Impact World title, if that is the case, where do you draw the line between, okay, it's just we just taking we making snide remarks at Impact versus you disrespecting the championship and devaluing it? Like I feel like if Omega is to become the world champion, he needs to put that maybe not on equal balance with AEW, because I mean he's not contracted to Impact, but I feel like he needs to treat that Impact World Championship as like one of the premier championships, just because off the strength that he's holding it. So it makes it valuable in the character's mind. And I think the one thing that you don't want to do is to put the title on this dude that's contracted to AEW, and then next thing you know, he talking about how the title is worthless and all this. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think you want that.
It depends how you do it. I think there is a way you can do that, but you really need to then have Impact kind of banding together to be the baby faces in the story to get their title back and to show that title should be respected and things. So maybe we're kind of looking at Kenny holding the title as more of a the end of the story, whereas maybe it's more the beginning of the story, to actually, that's when Impact need to start striking back. Because they still haven't done anything.
They haven't.
Just getting walked all over every week.
Gallows and Anderson more AEW talent than they.
Yeah. But as for this match, I mean, it's a Tommy Dreamer main event in 2021 for TV. Like, he does try his best to get you fired up. Like, I think his charisma is great. His promos are great. We have already seen this match not too long ago on a pay-per-view. I hope this was just putting kind of a nail in the coffin of this Tommy Dreamer run, and we can just get to where it really matters moving forward, Moose and Rich Swann. But odd that Rich Swann wasn't on the show, which, is he not? Do you know if he's not on the tapings at all, or they were just resting him for storyline reasons this week?
I really don't know. I would assume that maybe it was just, he just wasn't on this week's show, because I'm pretty sure like their world champion isn't going to be, off their tapings. I don't think that's a smart thing. I think you need your world champion, but you never know, man. Like, maybe we finally see Impact sort of strike back, I guess, and we see Rich on Dynamite. You never know.
Maybe.
You never know, man.
Maybe. That'd be good. We go to feedback for this week's episode of Impact. Forum.postwrestling.com. Every week for our shows, we post up a feedback thread because we'd love to hear your thoughts. And we start off with Anthony from Melbourne, who says, didn't watch the show, off to a great start, but that's why I have to thank you, Davie and Andrew. As a longtime TNA Impact fan from 2004 to 13-ish, I feel out of the loop with their product and even stopped checking in on their big shows. But now, thanks to you, I have a way to keep up with the shows. So thanks. You're welcome. Question. Will we get a payoff to the Hardy Private Party bounty that keeps being mentioned around the tag belts? I think there is a possibility Tony Khan has put a bounty on the belts as part of the inter-promotional storyline. It would make sense why Hardy was so determined to acquire the belts. What do you think about that? I mean, I don't think they are on this set of tapings, so that story seems to be kind of dropped unless we see another tag team come in talking about a bounty. But it seems like FinJuice from New Japan are the next kind of... They're kind of in the private party role now, I'd say.
Yeah, I definitely think that's... I think you just said it all needed to be said, to be honest with you. Like, as far as the Matt Hardy private party thing, I think that's more so of a story as far as like them goes. I think that's just going to continue unfolding on Dynamite until private party eventually gets tired of Hardy and, gets rid of him. But as far as the bounty around the tag title goes, I think that was just something just for, private party and Matt to kind of like, I guess, stimulate the storyline outside of the in-ring product, maybe.
Yeah, it was more just for the big money Matt character, just everything's to do with money and bounties and that kind of thing. I don't think it was to be read into too much. We go to Chris Elliott, who says, obviously the big story coming out of tonight was the debut of FinJuice at Impact. A decent showing from them, and it's good to see them on the show. It's interesting that it looks like they're going straight to them and the Good Brothers. Do you guys see them taking the tag titles for a little while, or is this just a short program for Gallows and Anderson? Also, with TK saying he has a present for Omega, I just assume it'll be the Moxley rematch. However, do you think Khan is saying this is trying to capitalize on what Meltzer said over the weekend about Okada going to the States?
Man, can you imagine Kazuchika Okada popping up on Dynamite and challenging Kenny? Can you imagine?
That would be nuts.
That would be insane, bro. Like I can only imagine like the crowd reaction, like live there at Daddy's place. They see Okada, and then the best thing about it is we hitting that point, man, where it's starting to get like, and I'm not saying this. I mean, it could, but like it's starting to get kind of, I guess, like we're starting to head towards that time of the season, the time of the year where it's starting to get warm outside. So maybe like people feel more like amped up when it's not like freezing outside, so like maybe they'll be more amped up to see like, or if that were to happen. That's just like, I was just thinking about. But yeah, man, like, can you imagine Okada showing up on Dynamite? That would be that would be crazy, bro. Like, legit. That would be insane.
That would be insane. Yeah, just hearing that coin flip to like have him come out would be awesome. I think what Chris is getting at here is not that Okada will be turning up on Dynamite tomorrow, but with Meltzer putting it out there about Okada going to the States, that this is kind of just Khan capitalizing on it by putting out a hint that something is happening tomorrow with this big Valentine's Day present. So
Yeah, but
I kind of see that.
you know what? I'm gonna make a bold prediction. This is what I think, right?
Do it. That's why we're here.
I think Moxley defeats Kenta at the New Japan Strong New Beginning USA show. I'm gonna say Okada confronts Moxley.
Ooh.
And then that is the beginning of Okada showing up at AEW at some point. I'm not saying it's gonna happen right off the break. I think Okada is going. But you know what? I really could see New Japan using Okada on NJPW Strong to kind of like, bring some more eyeballs to that. I know Rocky Romero said they have good viewership like on the day after the show airs on Friday nights. So I could definitely see Okada like, that's one of your if not your biggest star, if not one of your biggest stars, your biggest star appearing on one of your programmers in the States to help attract that U.S. viewership. And then I could see him doing something with Moxley kind of taking that over to Dynamite. He got people coming after him, yada, yada, yada. And then that's a way for Okada to transition over. I think that'd be a smooth way to do it. But like I know Chris, he said something about the tag team division. Do you think that Good Brothers Young Bucks match is like just pending? Like it's like that thing is happening somewhere, some way down the line.
Yeah, I can't see the Good Brothers dropping it to FinJuice.
Right.
No, I see that being the ultimate goal. Is we'll probably even maybe have just one show which is all into promotional matches. So you'd have Bucks versus Good Brothers. You'd have Kenny versus Rich Swann or Moose. You can have a Mox US New Japan title defense. But yeah, I like what you're saying. Kind of a Mox Okada feud. Like, you hear Okada and your head just goes to Kenny immediately. But Mox wasn't in his bracket, was he, when they were in the G1? I don't believe. So I can't think of them ever interacting. I might be wrong, but that would be pretty fresh and pretty cool as well. And we have one final piece of feedback from Jordan Goodman, who says, "Good show. Don't forget to brush your teeth before bed." Yes, and don't forget to check out the wellness policy. If you're a post-wrestling patron, 3 p.m. on Zoom, Jordan will be waiting for the second episode of the wellness policy, and then available for free later on the post-wrestling feed. So thank you for your feedback, Jordan. Andrew, as always, it's a pleasure. Have you got anything you'd like to promote before we say goodnight?
Everybody just go check out my interview that I put up with Shane Taylor. It's up on my YouTube channel. So yeah, go check that out and go like it and go comment on it and go share it with the world.
Sounds good. And where can we find you, Andrew? Where can we find your interviews? Where can we find your Twitter?
You check out my interviews at the Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel, and then catch me on Twitter at @ADThompson__.
And you can find me at Davie Portman. If you want to follow Up Next, we're at Up Next Podcast. We're always posting our schedules when we're going live on Twitch and just funny things here and there. That's at Up Next Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/UpNextPodcast. Let me very quickly run through everything we've got coming up this week. Again, very packed on Up Next. Tomorrow, around lunchtime, John Cena will be dropping another Shot in the Dark on the free feed. He'll be talking about 205 Live, AEW Dark, MLW, the Japanese side of the Women's Eliminator Tournament from AEW, main event, everything that you may not have watched. You've got John Cena to fill you in. Then tomorrow night, we have Up Next talking about the fallout from TakeOver. We gotta know why, Cole. Why, Adam? Why? That's what we got to look forward to tomorrow. Very excited for NXT. tomorrow after that great takeover. And you can find that on our free feed by searching Up Next, or we'll be live at 10:15 on Twitch. Then Thursday, 1 p.m. live on Twitch, we have our AEW review with BD Elite. That'll be available on the free feed later. Friday, we're joined by Martin Bushby for an episode of Best Match Ever, talking about Martin's favorite matches from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. That will be available on the Patreon. Saturday, we'll be joined by Richard Waterhouse for Up Yours, as we're talking about the film Office Space from 1999. That's available on the Patreon. And then Sunday, we've got the Elimination Chamber. We will be hosting a watch-along and post-show on Twitch, and then upload the post show on our Patreon. So much stuff. There's always so much wrestling to talk about, Andrew. But I believe you need to go to bed now, my friend. So I'm going to say good night.
There we go, Davie. Shall you do your signature sound off, sir?
I will do indeed. Take care. Be safe. And I haven't hurt so much since Krabs from Bob Seger's girlfriend. Ahoy! All right. Thank you, Twitch Room. Thanks for all joining us tonight on this Tuesday. We're going to bid you adieu. But as always, we'll see if we can raid someone first. I'm going to go to the theme now. Good night.
This is the captain. Brace for impact.